Um, okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Mark Birkin. I'm Professor of Spatial Analysis and Policy at the University of Leeds and Programme Director for Urban Analytics at the Alan Turing Institute. And in that capacity, particularly as Programme Director at Turing, I've been closely associated with the RAMP programme and the Urban Analytics theme. I'm not going to say very much by way of introduction. I have one substantive slide, which is this one. So obviously the pandemic has generated huge amounts of material in written form, text, video, all sorts of things. An exchange that impressed me very much took place in December. House of Commons Select Committee on Responses to the Pandemic, and interestingly, this was at the time when there was a lot of excitement, positive feeling about the introduction of the vaccine. Patrick Vallance, Chris Whitty sharing information with the committee about the progress and successes of that programme, which of course have continued, and we're all very grateful for. It was hugely significant, I think, that in the midst of that inquiry, there was a lengthy exchange around the whole lockdown situation, particularly a range of questions from MPs regarding hospitality, the economy, measures being taken to balance the health impacts of the pandemic with the economic, social and other consequences of the situation that we've been facing. And in the midst of this, Patrick Vallance says, very specifically, something which for me is quite revealing, where he essentially says that we don't have very good models of the impacts of different environments, hence social interaction, mobility, individual behaviours, and how that manifests itself in different locations. So again, thinking about what's going on in retail centres, in transport hubs, in bars, restaurants, public spaces, and he goes on to say, which I think is absolutely correct, I don't think anyone has. And this is the area, to me, where the urban analytics and related activities within the RAMP consortium have been focused since an early stage in the pandemic. So this is largely about recognizing, as clearly there is again huge importance in these epidemiological approaches to understanding the pandemic, and much of this epidemiology is recognized in other RAMP and Newton related events, in more kind of mainstream scientific and medical research around the development of vaccines and so forth. But this aspect of understanding the social, behavioral, environmental aspects of the pandemic are also hugely important, and I think, as indicated here, largely under-researched. And so these are the kinds of activities which we've aimed to bring together into the workshop over the next 2 days, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing about the progress which has been made by colleagues coming at these kinds of problems from a variety of different perspectives. I won't say any more substantively at this stage than that, as I'm looking forward to hearing what the speakers have got to say, and then to following on that in the question and answer sessions and the various panel and group discussions that we will have later on. In case one doesn't get the chance later, I would like to thank the Newton Gateway, and especially Jane Leeks and Claire Bonner, for assisting myself and Mike Batty primarily as the academic leads for this activity. I'd like to thank Mike Cates, the Royal Society, the RAMP Steering Group, for their support for these activities and backing for this and other events. Thank you all for attending, especially to the speakers, session chairs, breakout group leaders, others who will be helping us to lead in the delivery of this event. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Glenn Marion, who is Head of Research and Biomathematics and Statistics, Scotland. So without further ado, one item of further ado, perhaps, it seems to me related to what I was just saying. The whole kind of place levelling up agenda, has kind of ebbed and flowed, but generally also been a hugely important consideration through the pandemic, and of course continues to be so. For example, in terms of the high localized levels of incidence of the Indian variant and the sorts of measures that might need to be taken to address that within various cities. I think within that context, various kind of national differences between England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland will also provide the basis for reflection into the future as they have done so far. And certainly I'm aware that a number of initiatives have been taken, particularly from an early stage within Scotland, some of it common to the rest of the country, and some of it perhaps rather more distinctive. So I'm looking forward to hearing more from Glenn about the Scottish situation, and my interpretation, I hope is correct, Glenn, in terms of the title, which Glenn will speak to, modelling to support national response to the COVID pandemic. I think we'll perhaps deal with elements of Scotland as a nation, as well as perhaps broader national considerations. So I hope I put my foot in it there. I think that's probably right, but I'll make way and allow Glenn to introduce himself and his topic properly. So thank you, Glenn, and welcome.